Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 9th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunny day on the way. The high 80. Tonight and overnight, a few passing clouds, low 67. And then Wednesday, we'll have sun in the morning. Scattered thunderstorms likely in the afternoon, high 83. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 54 clear in New City up in Rockland. It's 53 and clear in Mahwah over in New Jersey. And it's 56 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
It was not a good night for Knicks fans. Bullets fly inside a bus in the Bronx. Are more ICE agents really coming our way? Serial shoplifters were walking out with lawnmowers on Long Island. And we're hearing more about how a New Jersey woman fell down her building's garbage chute. All right, 5:04, let's get into it. The Spurs did not give in. They have not given up on the NBA Finals. They beat the Knicks last night, 115-111 at the Garden. Knicks now lead the best of 7, 2-1. Victor Wembanyama, he showed up big time. Game high 32 points for San Antonio. Jalen Brunson, he matched him with 32 points in the loss. Wembanyama says the crowds have been a factor so far. Last night, if you were watching the game before it began, the place was just going out of its mind, which not surprising since the Knicks have not won an NBA Finals championship in 53 years. And they tried to figure a way, the Knicks, to temper all that, but apparently by the time night was over, they did not figure that out. They seemed to be a little bit lost at times. Here's Victor Wembanyama commenting on the big win for the Spurs.
At home, it really feels like playing 6 against 5. And here it feels like playing 5 against 6. I agree with Luke. It really shows what teams are made of.
Now, if you're a Knicks fan, you watched this game last night and you said, wow, they called a lot of fouls on the Knicks, not a lot of fouls on the Spurs. Knicks coach Mike Brown said he did not like the free throw disparity.
Mitch Johnson and the Spurs, they won the game tonight. They came and took the game. But I will say this, I never thought I'd be in the NBA Finals and see a team get 24 free throw attempts in the second half to another team's 8.
Yeah, something didn't seem right about that. Knicks guard Jalen Brunson says they were out of sync on both ends of the floor. Now, if you were watching, I watched the pregame. Did you watch any of the pregame? Like 15 minutes before the game started. And I did notice something, and maybe you noticed this as well. The Spurs seemed to be very loose as they were getting ready right outside the locker room. They were having a good time with each other, high-fiving, joking with each other. The Knicks seemed like they were showing up to a job. And the pressure was really on the Knicks last night, playing in front of a hometown crowd. So anyway, Jalen Brunson says they need to get back to the basics because it's not over yet. It's 2-1. Game 4 is Wednesday night back at the Garden.
Most importantly, the little things, the attention to detail, the stuff that we pride ourselves on, we didn't do tonight. So regardless of whatever shots we were getting, the little things can make or break a game. Turn the ball over a lot, first and foremost, but then also we were fouling a lot and put them at the line about 30 times. And with our live ball turnovers, and I got them out in transition, and they were capitalizing off of those.
WABC News Time 5:08. So normally there would be a watch party right next to Madison Square Garden, as there has been for all of the playoffs. But last night they moved that party away from MSG because President Trump was there. Secret Service apparently asked them to move the party, so they moved it to Bryant Park, which is, not that far away, just a number of blocks away. So there was a watch party there last night. And we're getting reports from the NYPD about how chaotic it became. They had to bring in riot police at one point. They had to use pepper spray. Huge brawls broke out. Those cops in riot gear rushed to control this unruly crowd. This was even before the game was over. This was as people were trying to get inside Bryant Park. And those who made it in, now, as of now, we're being told there was just one arrest. My guess that number is going to change. I think we don't have the final number because watching some of the video this morning of these fights with police, one guy throwing a bottle at a police officer, my guess is they took more people into custody. So there were a lot of people who did show up at this thing at Bryant Park. Some disappointed. They say it did not feel party enough like for them. This was the police doing battle with some of these fans last night. It was not pretty. Now, I will say the people who did make it to the grass and watch this game, some of them say once you were inside, it did not seem as chaotic. But again, they pointed out it wasn't as party-like, whatever that means, as it was outside the garden.
MSG is where it's at. That's where the energy's at. We need that. And, this is cool and all, but there's security everywhere. It's like something's going to happen.
Yeah, well, because something did happen. That's why there was security everywhere. Fans were seen climbing onto street signs near Bryant Park before they were brought down by police. Footage of the incident quickly spread across social media. And then, of course, that always brings other dopes to the scene. And that's what happened last night, too. And again, the fans who made it inside, here's their reaction.
It's not the same. We were expecting a lot more people, a lot more energy, which this is fine, but I was expecting a party, I was expecting a huge sweep on the streets.
Yeah, well, stay home if you want to party.
This feels so much safer. Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's kind of hectic over there anyway. This is pretty cool. Also, there's grass here, so if you're tired, you want to lay down in the grass at the timeout, you can.
Okay, yeah, that's one idea. Then there was other fans after the game. They say they haven't given up, and you shouldn't give up. It's only 2-1 right now.
It's unbelievable for the city. I mean, it's going to be crazy. I know it's been over 50-something years since they won, so.
This is what New York is about. New York's about having grit and heart.
Yeah, all right, so this thing ain't over. President Trump, of course, was there last night. And my guess is it depends on whether you like the president or dislike the president, how you interpreted last night. They showed the president on the big screens at the Garden last night in his box with the Dolans as they played the national anthem. Now, some people will say it was loud boos. Other people say it was loud cheers. Again, my guess is it's probably which side of the aisle you're on. So the president responding to this last night, he heard the crowd loudly last night, and he said he thought there was more cheers than boos as they played the national anthem.
I thought it was amazing, actually. You mean when they had the camera on me? I thought it was very good, yeah. It was certainly amazing. It was. I think mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
Yeah, security elevated outside the arena. Some fans complaining it took too long to get into the arena last night because the security zone was so large. The president was with family members. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, of course, who ran for governor here in New York. He was at MSG last night, too. They were both asked if they would head to San Antonio to watch Game 5.
All right. I don't know. We're busy with a lot of important stuff right now at EPA.
Like a war?
There's a lot of important stuff going on.
I don't think you're going to see either of them at another game. And then did you see this viral video that was going around yesterday that showed the 7'4" Spurs star Victor Wembanyama? He was spotted in Gramercy Park here in the city. It's a private park. It's unclear who shot this video on Sunday, but it seemed that the 22-year-old was drawing a statue. There's a statue in the park, a Shakespearean actor, Edwin Booth, who was the brother of John Wilkes Booth. There's a statue of him inside Gramercy Park, and there's video of him, and it sure looks like him, of him, looks like he's sketching this statue on Sunday. It's kind of cool to see. It's not clear how Wembanyama got access to this private park, because only certain people get keys. The Spurs were staying and are staying at the Ritz-Carlton on 28th Street, so it likely was him inside the park getting ready for the game. WABC News Time. time, 5:13. We're hearing from two of the victims that were stabbed in that stabbing spree in Penn Station on Sunday night. They're speaking out about the attack. The random attack happened about 7 p.m. on Sunday night on the New Jersey Transit concourse inside Penn Station. One of the victims, a 51-year-old, says he was heading into work from New Jersey, and when he was attacked by this 51-year-old homeless and clearly out of his mind man.
I see all cops are running in the other direction. Someone else got stabbed, and people run all over the place. One direction, another direction. It was weird. It's like he saw me, and he just went with a roundhouse and just went right after me, unprovoked.
He didn't even realize, that is Stephen Hatchkiss, that he had been stabbed or sliced across the neck until someone pointed at him and said, your neck is bleeding.
And then I hear this guy in the escalator, he goes, he's got a knife, he's got a knife. And I'm outside, and someone goes, yo, you got cut.
Yeah, there were other victims as well. A 40-year-old, a 42-year-old, a 60-year-old. Investigators recovered this knife on the New Jersey Transit side of Penn Station that is believed to be used in the attack.
I saw like this trail of blood was leading to this kid who got slashed in the head. He was holding his head. He had like a towel holding his head. Blood's coming out.
Now, Amtrak police were able to find this guy very quickly. He was really still at the scene, and so they took him in, the man who allegedly slashed these 5 people. And what we're being told, his name is Hector De Leon, is that he was involved in a similar attack in Newark, New Jersey just 4 years ago and was given just 2 years of probation as a sentence. That at least to court records. Clearly, this man shouldn't have been back out on the streets, but he was. More on that story, of course, as the week goes on, because more victims are speaking out, so we'll get to those too as well. In a moment, we will head out to Los Angeles, and we'll head out to the state of California, for that matter, as reaction comes in as we get more election results. We'll get into that in just a moment, but first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Not a good night for the Knicks, Justin Elliott.
No, it was not. Noam Layden suddenly have some work to do to end their 53-year championship drought, losing 115-111 in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, cut their lead to 2-1 in the best-of-7 series. The Spurs handed the Knicks their first loss in 46 days in front of a Madison Square Garden crowd. That included President Donald Trump, of course. The Knicks had their 13-game winning streak, the second longest in NBA postseason history, snapped and missed a chance to move to the brink of their first title since 1973. Knicks coach Mike Brown complained about the Spurs' 24-8 advantage in free throw attempts in the second half. Jalen Brunson scored 32 points, and OG Anunoby had 28 for the Knicks. And now San Antonio can tie the series tomorrow night at MSG and are guaranteed another game at home, with Game 5 scheduled for Saturday in San Antonio. I don't know if you can agree with head coach Mike Brown there, Noam Layden, on the free throw discrepancy.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
It was obvious to even the most basic of viewers.
Yeah, if you were a Spur fan, you had to say, oh, wait a minute, something's going on here.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll take it, but something's going on.
Right, 24-8 is crazy, especially in a game like that, second half, with a crowd like that at MSG. I mean, come on now. We got to start calling a better, fairer game. Start pulling it both ways here. Because Mike Brown said it. He said, listen, the Spurs deserve it. They came out. They played a better basketball game than us. But at the end of the day, if we were fouling, they were fouling too. I mean, come on now. Our guys were on the floor almost every time down the floor here.
And there was that one foul on Brunson in the fourth quarter where he just got hammered.
Yeah, hammered. Karl Anthony Towns got hammered a couple of times as well. So, hopefully we get that patched up heading into tomorrow night's Game 4. We shall see. In Cleveland on the diamond, Cody Bellinger hit a 2-run single. The bases loaded in the 10th inning, and the Yankees defeated the Cleveland Guardians 7-5. Paul Goldschmidt and Ryan McMahon homered for the Yanks, who won for the first time in 4 extra inning games this season. David Bednar, the 7th Yankees pitcher, struck out 3 in 1 2/3 hitless innings for the win. He retired 5 of the 6 batters he faced. Up next for the Yanks, the ace Garrett Cole gets to start in tonight's Game 2 of 4 against the Guardians. First pitch from Cleveland is scheduled for 6:40 p.m. And the Mets, they're back at it tonight after after an off day yesterday. They'll welcome in the Cardinals for the first of a 3-game set tonight in Queens. 7:10 p.m. is your first pitch. Freddie Peralta will get the start there. And then Stanley Cup Final will pick up tonight as well. 8 p.m. start out in Vegas. Hurricanes and Golden Knights. Game 4 there. Vegas leading the series 2-1. That is your Sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 520. Let's head out to California, Los Angeles. An election update. Nithya Raman, the progressive city council member, will in the end face off against Mayor Karen Bass come November. She beat out TV personality Spencer Pratt after mail-in ballots were counted over the last week. Veteran Democratic politician Javier Becerra, he has won the top 2 spots, or the top spot, in California's primary election for governor, a finish that puts him in a prime position to win in November, make history as California's first elected Latino governor, but he'll have to likely get by Steve Hilton, but they're still counting votes in that race as well. Tom Steyer, who's in 3rd place, is behind about 200,000 votes. And the top election official in Los Angeles is responding to accusations that California elections are rigged. LA County Registrar Recorder Dean Logan was asked by NBC about these repeated claims by President Trump and others of fraud there, that, it's taking so long to count the votes, and maybe it's because things are fraudulent.
There's nothing rigged here. This is the will of the voters, and our job is to make sure that every eligible vote that was cast and timely received in this election is included when we certify.
Logan says that a lot of ballots came in later this year than normal, and the bottom line is that it just takes time to verify, count them properly, but he says he understands people's frustrations with the slow vote count, and he's open to a conversation about fixes.
We know that the process here is as intended by law. We know we're doing it with transparency, with security, and with accuracy. There are some things with automation, changes in laws, changes in deadlines that could improve that process, and we ought to have that conversation.
President Trump wrote online Monday that the election is rigged because the candidate he endorsed in the LA mayor's race, Spencer Pratt, had dropped to 3rd place, and now they're saying that's firm, that he is out of the race. It's top 2 vote getters in the race for mayor. They move on to November. 522. President Trump says he's in the final throes of a peace deal with Iran after a dangerous escalation with Israel in Iran, and he suggests that an agreement could be done in just days now. More on that from correspondent Nick Harper.
Donald Trump in one of his latest social media posts saying that final negotiations on peace are proceeding, subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in the way. But what we are seeing from the United States once again is no softening of its stance.
And the president says the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports, that remains firmly in place today.
Donald Trump made it clear that U.S. naval blockade against Iranian ports will remain in effect and in full force, he says, until a final deal is reached. But he finished that post by saying that things should move quickly.
Now, the president talking about yesterday as he went home from the Knick game about a U.S. Army helicopter that went down near the Strait of Hormuz. He acknowledged the incident as he boarded Air Force One to return to the White House.
The pilots are fine, yeah.
And what
nobody injured.
Brought it down?
We are going to issue a report tomorrow, but the pilots are fine, yeah.
The Apache helicopter was reportedly flying over the critical waterway that's been blockaded when it went down. They didn't give us a whole lot more details. I guess we'll hear more later today. And then Israeli forces apparently have killed 8 people in southern Lebanon today after issuing forced displacement orders as it continues some attacks on southern Lebanon, ignoring the president's warning to halt strikes there. And Tehran says fighting will resume if Israel continues what it calls its aggression in Lebanon. And Kentucky Republican Congressman Thomas Massey jumping into all this. He's called now for a new investigation into Israel's deadly 1967 attack on the USS Liberty, which was repeatedly bombed near Egypt, killing 34 U.S. sailors. WABC News Time, 524. While we're overseas, China's leader Xi Jinping having a get-together with North Korea's Kim Jong-un today after arriving in Pyongyang for a 2-day visit. He arrived there yesterday.
This is the first time in 7 years that China's leader Xi Jinping is visiting North Korea. Hailed by Xi as an invincible friendship, he'll meet with Kim Jong-un just days after Kim talked of building an even bigger nuclear arsenal. Those ambitions are likely to be a discussion point for Xi.
That's correspondent Janice Mackey-Fryer.
Xi had in recent years appeared to cool on engaging with Kim, or at least trying to manage him. But China also sees the benefit of using its position as leverage, especially with the U.S. Though as diplomatic host, he's been busy with President Trump here in Beijing last month and Russia's Vladimir Putin just days after. In a commentary before the trip, Xi said the neighbors would strengthen relations and fight hegemony as Beijing looks to draw Pyongyang back into its orbit.
Now, the last two time they saw each other, Xi and North Korean leader Un was in Beijing about a year ago, where a number of leaders had gathered for a military parade to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. 525. At least 32 dead now after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake hit the Philippines on Monday. The number of injured continues to rise. They think the death toll will rise as well, as dozens of buildings collapsed or were damaged in the earthquake.
The president declaring an emergency. The region in the so-called Ring of Fire experiences hundreds of earthquakes every year. The challenge now, with widespread damage and thousands displaced, getting help to those who need it.
Now, one of the buildings that was collapsed was a school. The powerful earthquake struck just about 7:30 Monday morning time in the Philippines. And while we're talking about earthquakes, there was one down near Cuba. It was felt in Florida yesterday. Residents in much of Florida felt an earthquake that struck just west of Cuba in the Gulf Monday afternoon. Meteorologist Tyler Fleming, he's with the National Weather Service, says there was no danger and there is no dangers at the beaches.
We've spoken to the Tsunami Warning Center, and they confirmed with the earthquake that happened right around 2 p.m. Near Cuba that there is no tsunami threat.
Yeah, and there was no reports of damage in Florida. Meanwhile, in Cuba, we hear the earthquake struck much harder. The scientists at the U.S. Geological Survey busy looking into the earthquake that struck off the western coast of Cuba. They say it was strong, and really strong for this part of the world. They don't normally see these kinds of earthquakes.
This is the largest instrumentally recorded earthquake in the Gulf of America since at least 1950.
Yeah, the magnitude of that quake yesterday, 6.1, that's pretty deep. And the depth was 26 kilometers.
This one occurred within a tectonic plate, and because of that, the tectonic stresses are more broadly distributed than they are at plate boundaries.
Yeah, authorities have not yet reported any major damage or casualties, but the quake spiked concern in Cuba, where decades of economic crisis have left a lot of buildings in severe disrepair. So say their guess is that there were some damage, and they'll probably hear about it in the coming days.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 9th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunny day on the way. The high 80. Tonight and overnight, a few passing clouds, low 67. And then Wednesday, we'll have sun in the morning, scattered thunderstorms likely in the afternoon, high 83. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 54 clear in New City up in Rockland. It's 53 and clear in Mahwah over in New Jersey. And it's 56 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 540. You know all that stuff that's been going on at Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Maybe it's coming our way here in the city soon. There could be a surge of ICE agents coming to the Big Apple for immigration enforcement. Border Czar Tom Homan says there will be more ICE agents brought to New York because Governor Hochul took away what he calls efficiencies for safe arrests in county jails.
You're going to see more ICE agents you ever seen in New York City, and it's coming. I just reviewed an operational plan. I'm not going to tell you exactly when it's going to happen, but it's coming.
Governor Hochul just signed legislation that would ban local jails from holding on to people on the behalf of ICE. Holman says that means more ICE teams need to go into neighborhoods to find these people.
ICE raids are cruel. They are inhumane. They do nothing to serve in the interests of public safety. I've shared that directly with the president. I've shared that in public. It is a feeling that many New Yorkers share.
That's Mayor Mamdani responding to Holman's comments when these agents might show, how many there may be. That part we don't know of the story. 541. Let's go up to the Bronx. Cops searching for a gunman after a man was shot and killed on an MTA bus there yesterday. 41-year-old victim took a bullet. It was a BX36 bus at the intersection of East Tremont and White Plains Road. This was about 2:30 in the afternoon. The bus was packed with people. Kids coming home from school. The man was shot in the abdomen, taken to Jacoby Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. There were a slew of witnesses.
There was 3 shots fired. I mean, this is ridiculous. Summer haven't even started. It's scary and it's sad that, you can't even take public transportation anymore because people just always resort to violence.
Yeah, safe nowhere. The gunman fled the scene on foot. People saw him running away. They say he looked to be young. That's how they described him.
Hundreds of police cars. They were all over. There was traffic up and down East Tremont Avenue. No, it was at a standstill. It's really sad. I haven't gotten on the bus in probably 30 years, but I don't think I'll ever get back on the bus.
Can you imagine being on a bus when bullets fly? Where do you go? Detectives say the bus was moving when the gunman opened fire, but it was not immediately clear what led to the gunfire. Now, a couple people on the bus say 2 guys were arguing, so that makes sense, and maybe one of them pulled out a gun.
There was a little 10-year-old girl, too. She was really scared. She was on the bus by herself coming from school.
Yeah, so far they have not caught up with that gunman. 543, while we're up in the Bronx, how about another shooting? Police searching for the people responsible for a shooting in Norwood that left a 23-year-old dead. Cops called to East 207th Street. This was after midnight on Monday. They found 23-year-old Jaden Purvis with gunshot wounds in his torso. He was rushed to the hospital where he passed away.
It sounds like shots, like pop, 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 pop. And how many did you hear? Like 5.
It's really sad. It's really, really messed up.
Yeah, blood-stained sidewalk, more than a dozen evidence markers remained on the street into Monday night last night as investigators searched for clues. The shooting happened near an elementary school, several homes, so a lot of people heard the gunfire. This guy came out to his car to find that some of those bullets had missed this individual went into his car.
We walked in, I didn't think much of it, and then we saw the holes, so they were pretty deep, so we had to go to work, but we couldn't go to work because the shooting, especially in our car, and then we found bullets in the hole.
Yeah, some neighbors say they believe the shooting may have been targeted. Police sources say that investigators looking for 2 men who drove away from the scene in a black BMW. 544. New York City going to hold a giant viewing party for the World Cup final match. They'll allow 50,000 people into Central Park to watch this thing. It's a lottery system, kind of like what they did for the people who won tickets to the actual World Cup matches out at the Meadowlands.
The most iconic match of the most iconic tournament in the world deserves to be watched in the most iconic park in the world with the most iconic skyline as its backdrop.
Yes, so the party will take place Central Park's Great Lawn. July 19th is the final. It'll include food, music, and giant screens that'll show the match.
50,000 people having a chance to watch the final of the World Cup together for free in the most iconic park in the world, I think is something that deserves to be celebrated.
Yeah, so more details on that lottery will come out in the coming days. In a moment, we'll tell you more about that woman in Hackensack, New Jersey, who fell down her garbage chute over the weekend. We have more details on that. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Eller.
Maybe she lost her engagement ring or something down there.
Well, yeah, something like that.
Sports sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com. Find a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built of boilers at the Garden. Knicks suddenly have some work left to do to end their 53-year championship drought, losing 115-111 in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. cut their lead to 2-1 in the best-of-7 series. The Spurs handed the Knicks their first loss in 46 days in front of a Madison Square Garden crowd that included President Donald Trump. The Knicks had their 13-game winning streak, the second longest in NBA postseason history, snapped and missed a chance to move to the brink of their first title since 1973. Knicks coach Mike Brown complained about the Spurs' 24-8 advantage in free throw attempts in the second half, and rightfully so if you watch the game. Jalen Brunson scored 32 points, and OG Anunoby had 28 for the Knicks. And now San Antonio can tie the series tomorrow night at MSG and are guaranteed another game at home, with Game 5 scheduled for Saturday in San Antonio.
So were they booing the president or were they cheering him during the national anthem last
My
night?
analysis was, my immediate reaction was like 70-30 boos to cheers.
Right.
I was okay with it, to be honest with you. I wasn't surprised by it, and honestly, I was surprised to hear the amount of cheers that I heard. And the USA chant right before the national anthem was very nice as well. Yeah. And that was clearly a nod to the president being in attendance.
It was interesting they decided to show him during the national anthem as opposed to just some other part of the game.
Right. Well, they did pan to him once or twice, I think, throughout the actual broadcast, the play-by-play broadcast, if I remember correctly.
But not on the big screens at the Garden.
No.
That was the only time he was shown.
Yeah, I think they just showed Celebrity Row. I know they showed Derek Jeter up on the big board with Eli Manning. That was great. I love that.
They were sitting next. Were they there on double date?
That's actually an interesting question. Maybe they were. Yeah. I thought the funny part was when, I forget who it was going flying into the stands, but he flew right into Mike Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, and Derek Jeter was sitting right next to him. Right. So I said it was ironic that Jeter is on the other end of a crowd dive in the middle of a sporting event. But that was cool. Celebrity Row was cool. President Trump being there was cool.
The score was not, though.
No, the score was not cool. But listen, it's 2-1 lead now, and this is the NBA Finals. What did you think it was going to be easy? Let's go. Get back to work. Come back tomorrow night, and let's get back in the win column. In Cleveland on the diamond, Cody Bellinger had a 2-run single with the bases loaded in the 10th inning, and the Yankees defeated the Guardians 7-5. Goldschmidt and McMahon homered for the Yankees, who won for the first time in 4 extra inning games this season. David Bednar, the 7th Yankees pitcher, struck out 3 and 1 in 2/3 hitless innings for the win. He retired 5 of the 6 batters he faced. Up next for the Yanks, the ace Garrett Cole gets a start in tonight's Game 2 of 4 against the Guardians. First pitch from Cleveland, scheduled for 6:40. Mets back at it tonight after an off day yesterday. They'll welcome in the Cardinals for the first of 3. Freddie Peralta will start there. That's a 7:10 p.m. first pitch from Queens. And the Stanley Cup Final will pick up tonight as well with Game 4 from Vegas. 8 p.m. start there. Hurricanes and Golden Knights. Vegas currently leading that series 2-1 heading into Game 4. That is your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best pool boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:50. Governor Hochul announcing the next phase of construction on the 2nd Avenue subway. It's officially underway. It would advance a major transit project that will bring expanded service up to East Harlem. The project will extend the Q line from its current end, which is at 96th Street, to 125th Street, providing new transit access for neighbors on Manhattan's East Side.
This will help people save upwards of 20 minutes one way. That's a gift to people. So when I see that wall come down, and I know I'm the governor who got it done, I'm going to say, I'm not stopping till we're done. Let's go all the way west. Let's open up this whole region to people's opportunities.
The announcement comes after the White House agreed in April to release about $58 million in federal funding for the project. The money had been withheld before the MTA filed a lawsuit seeking the release of that cash. And there are existing tunnels that were built in the 1970s, and so they're going to expand on them. It probably won't be done until at the earliest 2032. Let's go out to Long Island, where prosecutors there announced a crackdown on what they're calling serial shoplifting. 8 people facing felony charges. Prosecutors allege they aren't desperate shoppers, but professional thieves who treat big box stores like their personal warehouses. Now, the stuff that they were walking out with is amazing. I mean, high-ticket merchandise like power tools, in some cases lawn mowers, sometimes $8,000 worth of stuff was just wheeled out the front of the store. Here is the Suffolk DA on this bust yesterday.
Shoplifting drives up prices, causes layoffs and store closures, and causes taxpayers millions of dollars. So we here in Suffolk County are not going to sit back and allow it to happen.
Now, some of the problem is that workers are told not to really do a whole lot about this. They don't want to put these workers' lives in jeopardy, stopping these individuals. So now they feel like they can walk out the front door with a lawnmower. It is sort of amazing. Home Depot says organized retail theft takes place in its stores every 5 minutes.
It's more so the organized retail crime part of it has really what's been increasing. If it's popular to you, if it's something that you shop for, that's what people are going to steal. Yeah. Because it's easy resale, right? Whether it's on eBay, whether it's on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, so repeat offenders are having their right to re-enter the stores revoked by being served with trespass notices. If they return, they can face additional felony charges.
We're hands off for all of our employees. And all of our stores, especially in this market, we have individuals that are trained to apprehend shoplifters.
Yeah, that's still kind of amazing to think that every 5 minutes, Home Depot says they have something stolen from them. That's a lot of stuff. WABC News Time 5:53. The sad search continues down in Seaside Park, New Jersey, for a swimmer who went missing in the surf over the weekend. The man was reported missing in the water along the Decatur Beach at about 5:30 on Friday night. Search has been ongoing, but the 23-year-old who's from Palmyra has not been found. Now, at the time, there were no lifeguards on duty.
You know, the way the rip currents and everything else they got down here, people ought to know that and not go out there. You know? I mean, I feel sorry for them and feel sorry for their family and stuff like that.
It's an awful story. Lifeguards in Seaside Park are manning their stands now only on the weekends. That'll change come June 20th when lifeguards start working full time. Now, some people visiting the beach Monday wanted to know if the swimmer had been found. That was all the talk. As of this morning, we have not gotten word that he has been found.
We noticed there was no lifeguards today, so me and my friends didn't go in at all. But yesterday we were in, and it was a little rough.
Yeah, so this is the third confirmed drowning along the Jersey Shore in recent weeks, so early in the season. Others were found in Surf City and Wildwood, all taking place, when there are no lifeguards on duty. My kid, one of my kids is graduating, and they're doing the Jersey Shore thing as a celebration, and I've been warning him. I'm like, don't go in the water if there's not lifeguards on duty. I think, thankfully, when he's going down, they'll be full time, but just tragic. So what a way to die. 5:55, we will end with this story. So we had told you yesterday about how a woman had fallen down her trash chute in her Hackensack high-rise over the weekend. And now we know a few more details about this. Police say, you won't be surprised to hear this, drugs and alcohol played a factor after a woman fell 10 stories down her trash chute Sunday afternoon. She is still in the hospital, apparently with some pretty significant injury. She fell from the 14th floor where she lives to about the 4th floor. They say somehow some trash might have softened the blow just a little bit, or maybe she wouldn't even be alive today. She's 25 years old. They say high on drugs and alcohol when she climbed into the 14th floor garbage chute at about 1 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. Now, people in the building heard her screaming for help as she went tumbling down several stories.
All I hear is screaming and screaming. I got so freaked that I left. I ran and I was like, wait, hold up. Maybe somebody needs help. I went back and I said, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? Everything is okay. And I didn't know her language. She was just screaming in a different language. And I was like, oh my God, don't worry. Like, I'm call somebody.
Yeah, so she landed near the 3rd and 4th floors after trash inside the chute slowed and cushioned her fall. And then people still threw trash into the chute. Now, they may have not known she was in there, so there was trash on top of her as well.
It was insane. Oh, my God. Like, I still have chills just thinking about it. It was really crazy. Just that scream was intense. I was so scared. I felt like she was there. Like, I felt like I could just grab her.
Yeah, but the garbage made it tough to find and rescue her, so firefighters decided the best way to reach her was to break through the walls and cut into the metal chute. They say that was the only way they were going to get to her.
They used saws to breach it, and they were luckily able to remove the trash out from the bottom that had accumulated in the chute so that they were able to safely remove the victim that way.
Yeah, so we have not been given the woman's name, but we have been told that, unfortunately for her, she did have some significant injuries and will be in the hospital for a while.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?